This video is about what awakening actually is. Good afternoon. This is What is Awakening, with a video about what awakening actually is and what it is not. There are many teachers and books out there. Some describe it admirably and some in a confusing or even misleading way. It is a fun fact of human history that some people are seeking awakening and some not. However, both groups have next to no idea what it is and why they are or are not seeking it. Gurdjieff, one of the first to introduce this topic into Europe in a rational manner, called his group Seekers After Truth, and that in itself expresses its essence quite nicely. For there is quite a difference between reality and truth. This is also the reason why most ancient masters have spoken about it in riddles and similes and stories, rather than explaining it plainly. Furthermore, in many societies, in the past, speaking or writing the truth publicly could have you got killed. One of the many motivations why some individuals do seek truth and awakening is that they hope or assume that this will end suffering, which is partly true. Much suffering may well disappear, as it stems not from external circumstances, but is born in one's own mind, mindset, and core belief system. In many traditions, as in some branches of Buddhism, for example, these are known as identifications. If you identify with something or someone, this causes suffering. One definition of awakening is the end of identification. Thus, once you are no longer identified, and if identification is the root of suffering, then suffering will cease, together with the identification. Yet, there is another huge misunderstanding, or two. One is the confusing of awakening with enlightenment, and the second, the mistaking of mystical experience for awakening or enlightenment. There is nothing more beautiful in this world than a mystical experience, when you feel with every particle of your whole system, with your body, your mind, and your spirit, that all is one and all is love. It is beyond breathtaking and fulfilling, but this has nothing whatsoever to do with awakening or enlightenment. And anyone who tells you differently is just trying to sell you something. Unfortunately, human beings are not made to feel this intense exhilaration permanently. It does not and cannot last. Moreover, anyone might have this experience at any given moment, and this is no indicator at all of whether you are awake or asleep. Many New Age fans who have experienced this once or twice assume that this is it. Now I finally made it. I am awake and illuminated. I am very sorry to disappoint. It means nothing. On the contrary, all such experiences are very likely to become a great hindrance to awakening. You think you are there, but actually you are not. Thus, you might well stay where you are and look no further. It is easy to get quite comfortable there. Anything can be or become an identification. Anything, even the experience of oneness itself. Awakening is the end of all identifications, all of them. Good or bad, agreeable or disagreeable, comfortable or uncomfortable, all of them. Awakening is not a state of bliss and joy, although it sometimes can be. Rather, it is the absence of all longing, of all wanting, of all avoiding. It is neutrality. It is complete surrender. You surrender to what actually and truly is. You no longer judge. Good or bad do not matter anymore. If there is bliss, okay. If not, equally okay. Anything else is identification with something, with someone. And mystical experience is also something. Awakening is nothing. Nothingness. Emptiness. Now, enlightenment is something altogether different. While it is very likely that awakening happens first and then later enlightenment, the main difference is that once awake, you do not take yourself seriously anymore, whilst enlightenment is the dissolving of self. From here on, there is no more self. This is also why there can be no experience of bliss, of joy, of oneness, of God, of love in enlightenment, because there is no one left to experience it. Thus, this is also the end of dualism. If you are no more, there is no separation between you and God and everything. By being nothing, you are at the same time everything. So, let us return to awakening, which is our topic today. Many teachers claimed that in order to awake, the ego must be let go of. Yet, what is this famous ego? The ego is what enables you to deal with everyday life. If this is easy for you, you have a strong ego. If it is difficult, you have a weak ego. Your ego is your personality, your medium of interaction with what you perceive as not you. Neither awakening nor enlightenment can be a running away from the horrible things of this world. This would be identification with horror and fear, and will not lead to awakening. Awakening is accepting what actually is, and then realizing that there is nothing. If this realization truly sinks in, the ego starts falling away of its own accord, and you do not have to get rid of it. That's it for today. You may wish to listen to this video more than once. Thank you for watching and thanks for subscribing. Click the bell button. The next video will be about Siddhis.